Today, Jeremy is going to give us an overview of some of the top benefits and differentiators of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So the goal of today's webinar isn't necessarily to dive deep into one particular area, but we're hoping to give you a better idea of what makes Dynamics 365 different from other ERP solutions that are out there, and how it might benefit you in your short-term and long-term requirements, both for your business processes and for your IT perspective. So please feel free to ask questions during this webinar. We will get those answered at the end in a Q&A session. We'll leave some time open for that. And also, this webinar is going to be recorded, so we will send that out to you in a follow-up email tomorrow, as well as the PowerPoint. So please feel free to share that around with your colleagues, and keep an eye out for that email in your inbox. So just a little bit about Turnkey Technologies before I hand it off to Jeremy here. We are a Gold Microsoft partner that was founded in 1994 in St. Louis, Missouri. Since our founding, we've been focused exclusively on helping businesses implement and maximize the results of their Microsoft solutions. And that started off as Great Plains in the 90s before it was acquired by Microsoft and became Dynamics GP. And now we've fully evolved into the Microsoft Dynamics 365 complete portfolio, including finance and operations, Business Central, CRM, as well as Power BI and Office 365. Our primary focus is helping businesses adopt and make full use of their Microsoft solutions, and so we offer frequent webinars such as this one today, user group meetings, and other learning opportunities to try and show folks what's out there, what's possible, and maybe open some new doors to solving their current challenges. So today we're excited to present this webinar for you, and I hope you get some real value out of the information. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Jeremy. Jeremy, do you want to take over there?
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Brad. Good morning, everyone. As Brad indicated, today we're going to take a look at Dynamics 365 Business Central, give a good overview on what is Business Central, how can it impact your business, what challenges could it possibly solve for your business processes today. We're going to take a little look at the actual dashboards and navigation of Business Central, as well as some highlights of key features and functions that I think are pretty impressive and hopefully you guys will enjoy as well. So what are we looking at when we talk about outgrowing our current accounting systems or our business process applications? As Brad indicated, I'm one of the sales executives at Turnkey, and I have lots of conversations with companies and organizations that are on an older application or looking to move to the cloud or to the next level of ERP or financial management processing. And oftentimes I hear many of the same kind of challenges and issues that are being encountered by customers really all over the industries. One really is the insufficient reporting. So oftentimes you've got multiple systems. Maybe you're tracking your project costs and jobs in one application. There's timesheets in another. The accounting and financial management is done in another application. Sales is over in a separate system as well. What that can lead to is obviously having to enter data into multiple systems that don't necessarily speak to each other. You can oftentimes end up with duplicate data and a lot of manual processes where obviously the more times I have to manually enter information, the greater chance of error. And at the end of all this, we really are trying to use these applications and processes to get real-time detailed reporting of how the business is performing. So without these systems talking together, it can lead to insufficient reporting, obviously duplicate data, a lot of manual processes and issues. But another key concern with a lot of customers is security. How are those workflows and business processes being managed? Are people accessing files that maybe they shouldn't, or making changes that they shouldn't do as well? And Business Central really brings a single one source solution for all of these issues combined into one. So hopefully as we walk through some of the key highlights and features of Dynamics 365 Business Central, you can get a feel for how this might be beneficial for your business. So continuing on, what is Dynamics 365 Business Central? Some of you on the webinar may already be familiar. I always like to talk about this slide just a little bit to kind of explain where Business Central actually came from. Business Central is developed on a legacy Microsoft platform known as Nav or Navision, which was around for 31 plus years. So the actual code base of Business Central itself, it's not a brand new application offered by Microsoft. It was actually developed based upon the code base of a well-established application that's been out there for a very long time, with over 160,000 plus customers, 2.7 million users, in over 195 different countries. Where Business Central came from is not only taking that code base from the Nav solution, but basically moving Nav to the cloud, making it a subscription-based solution for customers to access their data in the cloud. It leveraged all that hardcore business processing that was in Nav, but included new impressive features, especially new functionality around warehousing, service management, manufacturing. It really is positioned by Microsoft to be an ERP financial management solution for the small to mid-sized business market. And I think one of the things you'll see as a recurring method throughout the presentation this morning is the amount of functionality and features that you get and the affordability from a software perspective of what it costs to actually implement as well as use Business Central as your ERP system going forward. So for those of you all on the webinar that are familiar with the Microsoft technology stack, I think one of the immediate wins is seeing how Business Central is indeed nestled directly inside of the Microsoft technology stack. What you'll see is that Business Central includes not only financial management, project management, reporting, supply chain, and sales and service, but it's also designed to integrate out of the box with other Microsoft Dynamics 365 applications. So perhaps you're not using a formalized CRM process today to manage your sales. There's like a complete inclusive sales module within Business Central that could allow your salespeople to get things off of spreadsheets and out of their Outlook calendars and into a formalized sales CRM module. But then as the business grows and you want to expand usage, being able to interface directly with other Dynamics products like Dynamics 365 for sales, which is the full-blown CRM, definitely gives your organizations the leverage to grow and expand as the business expands as well. In addition to that, being part of the Microsoft technology stack, you can leverage the Power BI, obviously BI standing for Business Intelligence, Cortana, as well as Azure Internet of Things. But I think one of the biggest wins that you'll see throughout this webinar this morning is the integration with Office 365. We'll talk about it a little bit later on, but how cool would it be to be looking at your inbox, get a request from a customer for a quote for a few items or a few parts, be able to create the quote, create the invoice, manage all of that directly from within your inbox without having to toggle between multiple systems. Also, when you think about the abilities to create sales quotes and letters and correspondence and things in Microsoft Word or Excel, because of the integration in the Microsoft technology stack, you'll find that Business Central is fully integrated with all Office 365 applications, allowing you to really leverage the full power of what Microsoft brings to the table. In addition to that, though, there's also over 1,000 applications, third-party business applications that are available through Microsoft AppSource. These tend to be industry-specific code bases that will do specific functionalities for certain processes or certain industries. So although there's a breadth of functionality that's included as part of the base application, if you're in a niche industry requiring a very specific part of that functionality, there's over 1,000 apps that are designed by those designers to plug directly into the Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central application. So what's in Business Central? What's core capabilities? What's extra capabilities? What do you get as part of the base package? I think one of the really unique things about Business Central and the way it's priced, which we'll cover a little bit later on in the webinar, is really what's included in what we call the Business Central Essentials license. As part of that core license, you're going to access all the features that you see here, with the exception of some additional sales and service management and manufacturing modules. But from a financial management, being able to track sales, project management, supply chain, operations, all the way through reporting, all those are actually part of the core Business Essentials subscription service. So you're really getting a lot of functionality out of the box for a very affordable price per user. You can see down at the bottom, there are a few additional modules around service order and manufacturing, which are included with the premium subscription. Just to kind of give you a preview, the Essentials license is $70 per user per month, and the premium is $100 per user per month. So you can see with really just a small upcharge, you're able to leverage all the features that you see here on the screen in front of you. So we talked a little bit about the functionality that was included in Dynamics 365 for Business Central, but we also have over 1,000 add-on applications that can be included. You guys can actually view these if you just go out to Microsoft App Source. You're easily able to search for specific industries, categories, or products that may be applicable. But what these are designed to do is really extend the Dynamics 365 Business Central functionality to add any industry or business specific needs that might need to be integrated. Credit card processing is a good example. If you're looking for expanded payroll solutioning, there are apps for that, so to speak. Manufacturing, container storage. We could go through a huge list of different apps that are out there. Like we said earlier, over 1,000 different applications available to actually plug in to Business Central today. Beyond AppSource, though, because it's part of the Microsoft technology stack, you're also able to integrate directly with other data sources and services. So if you're talking Excel files, I want to be able to import and export data directly from Business Central, no problem. We got that covered with the integration with Office 365 using things like Excel or SharePoint or Breeze, as well as CRM records. If you're using Dynamics 365 for Sales Today as your current CRM, again, part of that Microsoft technology world, it's able to interface directly with very, very little integration, which is nice. As you're actually running your business from a day-to-day perspective, one of the concerns I hear from a lot of my customers is really managing those business processes and controlling who can do what processes, and how does your approval workflow work? Is there specific audit requirements that your business needs? Being able to have a system that can manage those is very important in today's world. And so within Business Central, we fully have the ability to automate and secure your business process. You can create custom workflows within Business Central itself. Some of you on the call might be familiar with Microsoft Flow. Again, kind of going back to that holistic view of Business Central being integrated into the Microsoft technology stack. You could expand beyond what's in the core functionality and include Microsoft Flow workflows to actually integrate directly with the data being managed inside of Business Central. Really, at the end of the day, you want to be able to streamline your business processes, be easy to create workflows. If you come up with solutions that need to be, or problems that need to be solutioned, would it be nice to be able to route documents and create workflows easily and have those managed at your fingertips? The important thing too is obviously compliance and audit trails and being able to control all these security levels just from one touch. At one point in time during the webinar this morning, I will actually toggle over and show you my live demo environment of Business Central, but I like to include this screen to kind of introduce you to the concept of a single source view of all of your data. When we go to sign on to Business Central, depending on your role, as a business manager, for example, you're presented with a dashboard like you see on the screen in front of you. These dashboards include live tiles, graphs, real-time data information on how the business is performing. These tiles are what's called live tiles, so I can actually put in parameters of things that I need to manage. So for example, you'll see that some of them are showing a green bar at the top while others are showing red. Red are items that require my immediate action. Green tiles are showing me, hey, this is my business performing well. But you're also able to get, some quick hits. So to create a sales quote, a sales order, a sales invoice with a click of a button, all these things are presented very easily. As soon as you log on, one click, being able to access all your data to see how your business is performing, get the real-time updates on spot trends, your customer experiences, any issues that might be occurring. You could also drill down into these charts as well. So if I want to see the specific data that's making up the information on this dashboard, that's just a click away. And as a business manager or a business owner who's trying to manage and run my business, it's very important to have this data real time display that I can get to the information quickly and easily. And it also improves efficiencies because I'm able to manage by exception. So without having to have multiple parties involved or dig through layers and layers and layers of applications to find out what's going on, I really do have a single source view of areas of my business that are performing well, areas of my business that might require a little additional attention. Beyond the dashboards that are included as part of Business Central, what you'll see when you start experimenting or playing around in Dynamics 365 Business Central is really being able to have deeper insights into advanced analytics. There's a section within the dashboard where we can actually incorporate Power BI reports. If any of you on the phone are actually familiar with Power BI, it's a great tool that allows you to create custom dashboards, graphs, reports, a great visual representation of data and how your business is performing. So beyond the reports and tiles that are part of the core system, we can actually create custom dashboards for real-time analytics, obviously leveraging that direct integration with the Microsoft Power BI application. What about implementation? A lot of times when I'm talking with prospects or customers who are looking to move to a new application or upgrade their systems, obviously there's usually a general hesitancy about the level of effort and money and time it's going to take to actually implement a new system. One of the great things about Business Central, there are wizards, if you will, or tools that are built in that are designed to migrate your data from your current legacy application directly into the system. We talked a little bit about being nestled in the Microsoft Office 365 world. So sometimes that might even be in the form of Excel spreadsheets. So you're able to actually grow easily, quick implementation, get up and running quickly and easily by importing your data from QuickBooks, a legacy system, any sort of accounting system that you might be using today. There are tools within Business Central that allow for ease of data migration. It's easy to set up and manage. Obviously, being able to get going quickly is important. Most companies don't have, a year to implement a new ERP system. So I think the tools that come out of the box with Business Central really provide little impact to your day-to-day workflow and allow you to get using a new ERP system quickly and easily, as well as at an affordable price. One of the things that goes along with the quickness and kind of ease of implementation is getting adaptability and having users feel at ease with using a new system. Oftentimes going through implementations, you might have users that have used an application for a really long time, and so there's immediate hesitancy to switch or try something new or different. I think one of the great things about Business Central out of the box really is the look and feel. So Microsoft has spent a lot of money making sure that it really mimics the Office 365 look and feel. So if you've used Office 365, which most of us on the call probably have, you'll find that as you start using the system, it's very familiar. The way it links, the tiles, the icons, the menu structures, it really provides a familiar interface for those who may not be accustomed to moving from one system to the next. What this really means is it drives quicker adoption by users. It reduces the amount of training time required to implement a new system, which also obviously reduces the overall project. But one of the great things as well is having the user interfaces be customizable. If I've got a specific role in the organization, it can be very frustrating to log onto an application and see 56 menus with 50 of those not applying to my actual job duties. So within Business Central, we're not only able to present role-specific views to those users, but we can also create personalized feeds and notifications to notify those users if there are specific updates or parts of the business that they need to be aware of on a daily basis that might help them do their job more efficiently, or most importantly, service the customers easier. Again, kind of continuing that theme with the look of Office 365 and the integration with the Microsoft technology stack. One of the business process we're going to take a look at this morning from the webinar perspective is a quote to cash. So the example I used earlier was how cool would it be to be in your inbox and get an email from one of your customers having a question about an invoice. And instead of toggling over to 3 other systems to find the invoice, find out what the issue is, how to resolve it, go back and email that customer and keep track of all those multiple windows. With the integration between Business Central and Office 365, you're able to create quotes, process orders, and submit invoices, all with never having to leave Microsoft Outlook, which I think is a very, very cool item. We talked a little earlier as well about being able to access data either from Excel. So if you need to import data files, customers, vendors, purchase orders, invoices, as well as exporting for whatever reason, that's easy able to do. Being able to read, write, and update items, sales orders, purchase orders, all from within your inbox. And of course, with the integration with other Office 365 tools as well, how great would it be to be able to create professional looking quotes, any documentation you need to interact with your customers, whether those be letters, proposals, being able to integrate with Word, Excel, SharePoint, all the other Office 365 tools. Now, I know all of us probably just love working 24/7, but one of the cool things also I like as well about Dynamics 365 Business Central is being able to take it on the go. So you don't need to be in your office necessarily sitting at your desktop computer. There are apps with iPhone as well as Android that can be downloaded on tablets or phones that allow you to take all this functionality with you wherever you might be. So I'm able to see if I'm a CEO of an organization and I'm on vacation or at a conference, I'm able to look on my phone or look at my iPad and be able to see my dashboard directly on how my business is performing, or if there are certain items of my business that need attention. And again, this experience, it's very consistent and secure, very similar to all the apps that we're using today on our phones. With the download of an app, you're actually able to see real-time data on how your business is performing from a variety of different devices. On the affordability level, I always like to include this slide because if you've been doing some research, which might be why you're on the webinar this morning, around Business Central, what does it cost, what are the features and functions, I always like to kind of put this out there. So there are really 2 key levels of subscription service offered through Business Central. There's the Essentials license, which we mentioned earlier, which is $70 per user per month. This includes everything that's in Business Central with the exception of some enhanced service management and manufacturing. So as you can see on the slide here, when you're talking about financials, budgets, purchasing, workflows, inventory, sales, service, all that functionality is included for $70 per user per month. Then you have the premium, which is $30 more. With the premium subscription, again, this is per user per month. You're getting everything included in the Essentials license, plus some additional service management and manufacturing modules. So what about those users that aren't actually in the system full-time on a day-to-day basis? So you've got sales people in the field, you've got different vendors you're working with, or people that need to access the data. They don't really do day-to-day business processing, but they need the features of either entering time against a project. They need to be able to create a sales quote or a sales invoice. Maybe they need to schedule an appointment with a customer. There is a third license that's available. It's something that's called a team member, which is $8 per user per month. One of the things that we would do at the end of the webinar, I'm sure Brad will open it up for questions, as well as a follow-up offer that we're going to present. One of the discussions that we often engage with customers or prospects that are looking to make the move to Business Central is really take a time to understand what your current business process is, what you're looking to improve upon, what your current challenges and opportunities might be. That's also a good time where we can work with you to look at your current user base to determine, okay, out of the 50 to 100 employees, let's say, how many of those are actually full users versus are there a segment of your current population that might be team members. And so in most cases, you'll see a combination of Essentials and team members or premium and team members, really depending on the roles and responsibilities of the folks that are going to be using this application for their day-to-day business. So a good summary on, what Business Central brings to the table. Obviously, we hit on the fact that it gives you a single comprehensive solution, one solution that's including your financial management, sales, project costs, manufacturing, project management, service, all into a single solution. You're able to really expand beyond the core application if there's specific items to your industry. There's over 1,000 apps on AppSource that you can plug in as well. We're able to secure and automate your current business processes today, either through workflows built in within Business Central or utilizing Microsoft Flow. Really getting the meat of the reporting, if you will, having an end-to-end view of how your business is performing real time from those interactive dashboards, being able to implement quickly, interact with your Outlook directly, take it with you. And of course, I think the biggest thing on here that I usually find is one of the biggest wins is really the affordability of moving to a ERP design in the SMB space that's not going to break the bank. It's going to be easy for users to adopt to, but is also not going to take a great deal of time from an implementation perspective. So now what I'd like to do is take a few moments. Were there any questions at this point? Okay.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes.
Yeah, we do have one question right now.
Sure.
John asks, what is the typical implementation time frame and cost for a company of 300 people?
Sure. So that's a great question. A typical implementation timeframe for Business Central, it can really range depending on the number of companies that you're moving over. Our general guideline is 3 to 6 months for implementation, depending on the complexity. From a pricing perspective, one of the things that we would want to do is have a further conversation to determine how much functionality you're actually looking to deploy. We have customers that are looking to migrate just from a financial management perspective only. So, an implementation of that sort might be as low as $30,000. But if you're a customer with multiple companies looking to deploy all the modules within Business Central, obviously that implementation could increase. Just for everyone on the webinar, implementation is really based upon the amount of data being converted, the features and functions being deployed, as well as the number of modules that you're using. So it's not an easy yes or no kinds of question, but hopefully that gives you a feel for the timeline as well as kind of the range of costs that it could be to actually implement Business Central.
Okay, that's it for the questions. Oh, hang on, we got one more here.
Sure.
Oh, never mind.
Okay. All right, and we'll open it up at the end as well for any additional questions. What I really wanted to do is kind of show you my live demo environment to see what Business Central actually looks like versus slides. So you can see here I'm actually logged on directly to my application. You'll see right away all these tiles and activities are customizable based upon your business and based on your user profile. Luckily, my business must be doing pretty darn well because the only indicators I have on my tiles are green at this point, but we could have indicators if I wanted to see if certain things were going beyond certain parameters. You might see some tiles here that actually had red in them. Again, these are live tiles, so if you click on them, you're actually able to drill down, directly into the data that makes up that information. So I don't want you to think that you're just seeing kind of high-level generic details. You are able to drill down very easily into any one of these tiles to see any sort of information that you want. If I wanted to see the sales this month, I could actually click on that specific sum there. It would take me to the next screen to give me a breakdown of all the invoices that are specifically making up that area as well. So really, it's a great tool to have everything presented from a single source of view. The one thing I always like to show folks as well is in the settings, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is a true multi-company application, which I know some of our competitors out there aren't necessarily so. So you can actually manage multiple companies within a single source. So if you're coming from an organization where you have 3 different divisions or 3 different companies that are all part of an umbrella, you're able to have all the financials and all the details of those companies within one system based upon obviously your user ID and profile and security. You may or may not be able to access those companies depending on how we control the security level, but doing things like intercompany, those are all supported as part of the base application. You'll also notice that within the settings, there's several different roles that can be defined. I can take this a step even further and actually customize the fields and field level security and lock it down even more. But just out of the box, you're able to indicate what type of user are we looking at? Is this a business manager? Is this someone who is just managing sales? Is this someone who's doing project or production? And by clicking over and changing the view, what you'll notice is that my menu options will completely change and be more simplified and streamlined based upon the actual job role that I'm actually engaging in. So in this case, I switched from the business manager role over to a sales role. So now as a salesperson, I'm seeing things that you would expect a salesperson to have access to, right? Opportunities, quotes, orders, customers, commissions, all the things that would typically go along with those types of job roles. But it's very easy to control who has access to which data, to be able to toggle between companies one to the next, as well as being able to do intercompany transactions if you're an organization that actually has multiple business units. I know we have limited time today, so I just kind of wanted to give you a quick kind of look at the dashboards and the roles that are within Business Central. Just keep it in mind that all of these are customizable. Another key thing I usually like to point out, especially for folks that are just seeing Business Central for the first time, is being able to have these quick actions. These are processes that people typically do multiple times per day. I don't want to have to go through 10 different menus to be able to create a sales quote, or to look up a purchase invoice, or to actually apply a payment that was received from either a customer or a vendor. So having these quick action items or these quick hits kind of here at the front, I think is very key and very important. I mean, I'm able to get quick access to the information I need, see the information that I need, as well as, get it to my customers or my vendors as quickly as possible. One of the things I wanted to really focus on this morning is we've talked a lot about all the capabilities of Business Central, as well as the integration with Office 365. And I like to show this kind of run through to explain a little bit about what that really means for your users and your processors. So one of the key examples on this is really looking at a quote to cash. So, what does that typical process look like? Well, typically I would have a customer who might email me looking for a quote for some specific items or some specific services, if you will. I'd want to send them an email, convert that to an invoice, post the invoice, and of course actually, post the cash once they paid. So I pulled together some screenshots to really show you how this would look like within your current Office 365 environment today. So with the connection of Dynamics 365, I'm not sure if anyone on the webinar is familiar with this icon, this Contact Insights. But when you're using Office 365 along with Business Central, you're able to get directly to Business Central from within a window inside of your Outlook without having to toggle over or log on to a second application, which to me is a big changer. So again, no multiple systems, no multiple windows. I'm able to actually see everything from a single screen. In this example, we got an email from one of our customers, Robert Towns at Addons Corporation. As you can see from the screen, he's asking for a quote on some furniture, and he's looking for 7 chairs and 2 conference tables in our example, and I'm legit into my Microsoft Outlook at this point in time. So I could actually click on the Contact Insights button, and what would happen is it would automatically invoke the Dynamics 365 Business Central window to open within my Office 365 Outlook account. So you'll notice it automatically sees that, yes, this is from Addons Corporation. It's able to pull this information. It's smart intelligence to see who the customer is from. I could review any cases that were currently open for this customer. I could see any ongoing issues with invoices, do all those sorts of things, right? I'll back up just a little bit here. So again, if there were ongoing sales invoices I wanted to click on, I could actually click that, drill down, and see the specific invoices that are outstanding for this customer. If I actually wanted to create a quote, keep in mind we know that Robert's asking for a specific quote for chairs and conference tables. I can actually go up here to select New, and I presented with a series of options. Again, this is within Business Central directly in Outlook through Office 365. And I can actually create a sales quote directly from within my inbox. Say, it's how it automatically recognizes the items and the quantity that he's requesting for. Click OK. Now, once I do that, if I minimize my Outlook and toggle back over to Business Central, which again, you would not have to do, you would actually be able to see the sales quote that was created within Business Central, as well as be able to drill down and see the specifics. So again, he's ordering 7 chairs, 2 conference tables, and I can see I can see the full amount. From the same menu within my Outlook, I'm then able to click on the ellipses and say I want to actually send this quote by email. It's automatically going to find his contact information from within Business Central. It's going to attach the PDF, which can be formatted obviously with your company logo, with the information that's included of the items that he's actually requested. I can even open the attachment from within the email to actually see what the sales quote is going to look like. And then, of course, I'm able to click send and actually send it on its way. Obviously, we could do the same processes through creating an invoice, creating a quote, posting invoices. I really just wanted to kind of show you this morning how the interaction with Office 365 really allows you to take those core business processes and be able to do them all within Exchange without having to toggle between multiple applications. So I know it's a lot of information this morning, and I feel like I went through it rather quickly, but we definitely wanted to save some time at the end here for any questions or conversations that any of you might have.
Hey, Jeremy. Yeah, we got a two-part question here from Paul. What are the typical costs for AppSource plugins? Is it per user or per install?
That's a great question. So, and it's all different depending on the applications that you're going to plug in. So, a lot of the apps will actually be at no charge initially. Depending on the nature of the apps, they will vary based upon whether they just charge a flat charge. Some of them are user-based. I can give you a specific example. One I recently worked on was a credit card processing application. So there was no charge for the add-on app. What they would do though is the way it was priced is they become your credit card processing vendor. So they asked the customer for 3 months of their credit card transactions, negotiated what those fees were, and then that was how you were paying for the app, is through the processing fees. That's just one example. Some of them are based on user count. Some of them are just a flat fee. Some of them are free just because they're looking to kind of expand their customer base. So we'd have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. They're usually very affordable.
Okay, and then part two of that question is talking about moving from on-premise GP to the cloud and Business Central. What are the complexities, time frame, cost, and potential issues to be aware of in that process?
Sure. That's a great question. So in looking at moving from GP to Business Central, I will say that it does seem to be Microsoft's kind of vision that for customers that are looking to move to the cloud, that especially if you're on GP today, that Business Central is the natural transition. There is a built-in data migration tool. We saw one screen where it kind of showed you the wizards of the migrations. There is a data migration tool built within Business Central designed to migrate data from GP into Business Central. So that, from an implementation perspective, you're still looking at that 3 to 6 month window, just because Microsoft has a very distinct migration path from GP to BC in order to encourage customers to go to the cloud. From a cost perspective, that actually is very helpful because it reduces the implementation time frame by leveraging those tools. There would be some things we'd have to talk about. The first one would be how many years of data are you bringing over to Business Central, whether it's just 1 year versus 3 versus 5, for example, because that could obviously impact the amount of time that the data migration would take. The one thing I would say is that Microsoft right now is actually offering a discounted Business Central subscription user price for customers that are currently on premise with GP looking to make the transition. So I would ask for a follow-up on that, Brad, for whoever asked that question, because I don't want to say anything that's not accurate, but I believe it was a 40% discount that was good through October on the licensing, as long as you signed up by October, and that discount I believe was good through 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So there are great tools and incentives that Microsoft is putting forth for customers that are currently on-prem, either GP or NAV, looking to make the transition to Business Central.
Okay, great. And then, excuse me, Olivia, we may have to follow up with you on this one, but she asks, can you show a similar email example for project management and or capacity planning function? And I believe that's in regards to the quote to cash that you showed.
hmm Yeah, I don't have one of those that are set up, but it's a very similar process. Um, so again, I'm imagining in your example, if you had a customer that had emailed you specifically asking about a job quote or wanting you to send a job quote, again, having the contact insights kind of enhanced or attached, if you will, to Office 365, it's able to smartly recognize customer names, project codes, invoices. There's a whole list of smart fields that Business Central is able to see. Those ellipses that we saw being able to kind of you can create a sales quote, you can create a sales order, you can create a posted invoice all from within Office 365. So we can definitely follow up the Olivia, and actually I could mock up a sample to walk you through.
Great. And then Craig is asking, let me read this here. I have 3 systems that we maintain, CRM, database system, and accounting. Is there integration for all 3 into BC, or is it mostly financial integration, I believe?
So the answer to that question would there are APIs and integration points built within Business Central. So there are tools that you can integrate with third-party applications. So if you wanted to keep your CRM system, for example, and your accounting system, no, I'm going out on a limb here, but you just wanted to use Business Central for other functions, there are APIs and integrations that you can do that with. I would also say that keep in mind that Business Central does have those modules actually in the core application. So one of the things you might look at is say, well, what CRM system are you using today? Maybe there's features that are already built in within Business Central, so you could actually migrate from your existing CRM system and use BC for sales. But the usual approach is and Brad's going to talk a little bit about an offer we have at the end of the webinar. We could definitely look at your current systems today and determine if it makes more sense to migrate all those into Business Central, or if we want to create integrations with those applications, we certainly can do that as well. So I hope that answers somewhat of the question.
Okay, and then Paul is asking, what is the service management and manufacturing module addition? What functionality is included? And is it inventory and fulfillment, or does it include distribution and tracking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. So the manufacturing, it's pick, pack, ship. It is distribution as well as inventory. It's a full-blown manufacturing module that is contained, which is why it is part of the premium subscription, which is just a little slightly more. From a service perspective, to back up a little bit, within the core Essentials license, you do have the ability to do job costing and project cost. There is some additional field service functionality that's part of that premium subscription. If you're the type of business where you're scheduling appointments or tracking technicians to go out and perform, maintenance contracts and things like that, that's the add-on functionality that's part of the premium. So the difference is you get everything as part of Essentials. If you've got maintenance people in the field with enhanced service management, if you will, as well if you're doing true manufacturing, inventory, distribution, supply chain, pick, pack, ship, bombs, bill of materials, processes, those are all part of the premium subscription, which includes the full manufacturing module.
Okay, and he's also asking, can you connect Microsoft Dynamics Portal to Business Central?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great. That's it for the questions right now, but we'll leave the floor open for a couple more minutes. If you guys have any more, please feel free to submit them. Jeremy, do you want to go ahead and go to the next slide really quick? So this is a special offer we have out there. It's a no-charge 1-hour assessment with our Dynamics specialists. It's a no-obligation discovery session where you can meet with our team and evaluate your short-term and long-term goals and really dig into whether or not Microsoft Dynamics 365 meets those requirements. This offer is ongoing for now, especially for the attendees of this webinar, so do feel free to take advantage of this if you want to dive in a bit further, or if you have more questions that you want to get answered specifically. We highly encourage you to take advantage of this offer. You can register there at turnkeytec.com/fitgap, and we can tailor this conversation, this discovery session, to your goals. So whether it's your first ERP solution coming off of a more basic or limited accounting solution, or whether you're on Microsoft Dynamics GP on-premise or Microsoft Dynamics Nav and you're looking at that migration path, we can certainly tailor it to your needs. So take advantage of this offer. We'll also be sending this link out in a follow-up email tomorrow that'll include the recording and the PowerPoint from this webinar, as well as my contact information. So if you do come up with any more questions that you want to ask, I will be available to get you in touch with Jeremy as well. So Jeremy, was there anything else that you wanted to add before we wrap up here?
No, I think I'm good. Just thank you everyone for attending, and like Brad said, we encourage you to take advantage of the free ERP Fit Gap so we can have more of a one-on-one discussion on your specific business requirements and see if there's something we can do to help. So thank you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everybody. I appreciate your time today, and until next time, I hope you have a great day. Thank you.